The Lakers might have something in Bronny. Bronny James had his best scoring night so far, and he made the most of it. He finished with 17 points in the Lakers' 118-89 loss to the Milwaukee Bucks. Even though the team came up short, Bronny's performance was a bright spot. The Lakers were missing a lot of players, so Bronny got a real chance to show what he could do. He didn't disappoint. This wasn't just a couple of garbage time minutes at the end of a blowout like he's had before. He played serious minutes and delivered a career high in points. The Lakers were really shorthanded. LeBron James was out with a groin injury. Luka was dealing with a right ankle injury. Austin Reeves was out with a right ankle injury too. Rui had a patella injury. Dorian Finney-Smith was out with a left ankle issue. And Jared Vanderbilt was sidelined with a right groin injury. That's a huge chunk of the rotation missing, and it left the Lakers without their top 4 scorers. Those guys combined for more than 84 points per game, so somebody had to step up. Bronny got the chance, and he made it count. Bronny played 29 minutes and 53 seconds, the third most on the team. Only Dalton Connect and Jordan Goodwin logged more time. It was also the most minutes Bronny's played in any game so far in his NBA career. Before this, he hadn't really gotten much of an opportunity to be in the regular rotation. But with so many guys out, the door was wide open for him, and he didn't waste it. He shot 7 for 10 from the field. That's 70% shooting, which is really efficient. He also knocked down 2 of his 4 shots from three-point range, hitting 50% from deep. His shooting was solid all game long, and it showed that he's got the ability to score efficiently when he's out there for meaningful minutes. Along with scoring, Bronny dished out 5 assists. He wasn't just looking for his own shot. He got his teammates involved and created opportunities for them. He also grabbed 3 rebounds, adding a little bit more to his all-around game. The one area he'll need to work on is taking care of the ball. He finished the night with 4 turnovers, and cutting those down is something he'll have to focus on moving forward. This game was Bronny's 22nd in the NBA. Before this one, he'd never scored more than 9 points in a game. He broke through that barrier in a big way, scoring 17 points and doing it efficiently. This was his first game in double figures, and he didn't just get to 10 or 11 points. He went all the way to 17. That's a huge step for him. Bronny tied Dalton Connect for the team lead in points. Both of them scored 17, and they were the only 2 Lakers to reach double digits. That tells you how rough of a night it was for the team overall, but it also highlights how Bronny made the most of his opportunity. He didn't back down from the challenge, and he showed he can score when he gets the minutes. During his time on the court, the Lakers were outscored by 36 points. His plus-minus was minus 36. That number doesn't look great, but it's important to keep in mind the context. The Lakers were playing without a huge part of their roster, and they were facing a tough Bucks team. Even though Damian Lillard wasn't playing for Milwaukee, they still had more than enough talent to take control of the game. The Lakers couldn't keep up, and it showed on the scoreboard. By the way, if you guys want to watch a more fun style of video, I started a new channel. For the first video, I did every NBA championship explained. So of course I talk about all the Lakers teams, Wilts, Magics, Kobe, LeBron. I left a link to the first video in the description, pinned comment, and I'll leave a link at the end of this video if you want to finish this one first. I genuinely appreciate if you could check this channel out. Thanks. Anyways, the Lakers. Despite the blowout, Bronny's performance was a big positive. He showed that he's capable of contributing when he's on the floor for real minutes. His shooting efficiency was impressive, and he played with confidence. That's something the Lakers can build on, especially with so many injuries forcing them to dig deeper into their roster. Bronny's 17 points came on 70% shooting from the field and 50% from 3. That kind of efficiency is something you love to see from a rookie, especially one who hasn't had consistent minutes. His 5 assists show he's got vision and is willing to move the ball. The 3 rebounds help round out his stat line, and while the 4 turnovers are something to fix, that's normal for a young player adjusting to more responsibility. This was Bronny's first game, scoring in double digits, and it also made him the youngest Lakers rookie to record at least 17 points and 5 assists on 70% shooting, since Magic Johnson did it back in 1979. Anytime you're mentioned in the same sentence as Magic Johnson, you're doing something right. Bronny earned that comparison with his performance, and it's a big milestone for him early in his career. Throughout the season, Bronny split his time between the Lakers and their G League team, the South Bay Lakers. He's mostly been used in situations where the game's already been decided, and fans often chant for him to get into the game late. His minutes have usually been limited, and he hasn't had much of a chance to make an impact. But last night was different. This time, he was part of the regular rotation from the start because of all the injuries, and he took advantage. Bronny's got a huge online following, and a lot of people love to post clips of him playing. Sometimes it's his highlights, and sometimes it's even his turnovers. No matter what, he gets a lot of attention. But last night, he showed he deserves the spotlight for his game, not just his name. He went out there, played almost 30 minutes, and gave the Lakers some much-needed offense. There's been plenty of talk about whether Bronny belongs in the NBA. Some people say he's only there because of his dad, but nights like this one prove otherwise. Last night, Bronny was one of the Lakers' best players, and he showed he can score efficiently when given a real opportunity. He didn't just get a few lucky buckets in garbage time, he was on the court for serious minutes and led the team in scoring. He's a second-round pick, and that's important to keep in mind. This season, there have only been 3 second-round picks who've scored more points in a game than Bronny did last night. That tells you how hard it is to do what he did. 17 points on 70% shooting is impressive, especially for a rookie second-rounder who hasn't had much of a chance to get into a rhythm yet. Even though the Lakers lost big to Milwaukee, Bronny's night was a step in the right direction. He showed he can play nearly 30 minutes and still be productive. 17 points, 5 assists, 70% shooting, and 50% from three-point range is a stat line that should give him and the Lakers some confidence moving forward. There's still work to do. He'll need to tighten up his handle and reduce the turnovers. His defense will need to improve too, but those are things that can be fixed with experience and time. Right now, the important thing is that he made the most of his biggest opportunity yet in the NBA. Bronny's minutes last night were a season high, and his scoring was a career high. He became the youngest Lakers rookie to put up 17 points and 5 assists on 70% shooting since Magic Johnson in 1979. He played nearly 30 minutes, tied for the team lead in points, and shot efficiently. He also did it on a night when the Lakers were missing 6 key players and desperately needed someone to step up. His performance showed he can contribute when given the chance. The Lakers are going to need more from players like Bronny if the injuries keep piling up, but if last night's game is any indication, he's ready for the challenge. 17 points on 7 for 10 shooting, 2 for 4 from 3, 5 assists, 3 rebounds, and almost 30 minutes played. Those are numbers that show he can be part of the solution for this team, not just a late game novelty. Bronny's still got a long way to go, but last night was a big step. He's shown he can score efficiently, make plays for his teammates, and handle a bigger role. If he keeps getting these chances, there's every reason to believe he'll keep getting better. The turnovers and defense will come with time, but his ability to score at a high percentage and move the ball is already there. Last night, Bronny James had his breakout scoring game, 17 points, 70% shooting, and a role in the rotation. It wasn't the result the Lakers wanted, but it was a game Bronny can build on. He's shown he belongs. And if he keeps putting up numbers like these, he'll get more and more opportunities moving forward. And the thing is, even though Bronny James has only played a small sample of minutes so far in his NBA career, the numbers he's put up are already showing signs that he's doing well in several areas. It's easy to dismiss statistics when the sample size is low, but when you take a closer look at the efficiency and the percentages, Bronny's production stands out. His assist percentage, usage rate, and assist-related stats all point toward a player who's making the most of every opportunity on the court. And for a rookie who was drafted in the second round and is still working to establish himself in the league, these are really encouraging signs. Let's start with his assist percentage, or AST percent. Right now, Bronny James is sitting at an assist percentage of 16.05%. That might not seem like much at first glance, but it's important to understand exactly what that number means. Assist percentage shows the percentage of teammate field goals that a player assists on while he's on the floor. So, when Bronny's out there playing, 16.05% of his teammates' made shots are a direct result of passes he's made. That's a significant impact, especially for a player who's not handling the ball as often as a primary point guard would. And what makes it even more impressive is how that number stacks up compared to the rest of the league. Right now, Bronny's assist percentage ranks higher than 65% of players. That means he's assisting on a higher percentage of his teammates' field goals than nearly 2/3 of all players in the NBA. That's an impressive figure for any player, but it's especially notable for someone who's still early in his development and hasn't been given a huge role yet. He's not just blending into the background during his minutes. He's making plays for his teammates at a rate that's better than the majority of his peers. Bronny's raw assist numbers back this up as well. He's averaging 0.6 assists per game, and those assists have led to an average of 1.4 points assisted per game. While those numbers might seem small in isolation, they carry a lot more weight when you realize that they are better than 75% of players. That means 3/4 of the league aren't assisting on as many points as Bronny is per game, despite his limited playing time and opportunity. For a player coming off the bench and still finding his role in the offense, those numbers show he's doing more than what's expected of him. One thing that often gets overlooked when evaluating young players is efficiency. It's not just about how many points or assists a player racks up. It's about how effectively they're making plays within their minutes on the court. Bronny's numbers show that even with fewer touches, he's making smart decisions. He's seeing the floor well, finding open teammates, and creating scoring opportunities at an efficient clip. This suggests that his basketball IQ is already ahead of where many rookies are, especially those drafted later in the second round. Now let's look at his usage rate, or USG percent. Bronny's usage percentage right now is 22%. Usage rate measures the number of offensive plays that conclude with the player either taking a field goal attempt, going to the free throw line, recording an assist, or committing a turnover. Essentially, how involved they are in the offense while they're on the floor. A 22% usage rate means that almost 1 in every 4 plays, while Bronny's on the court ends with him making a key decision or action. That's not a minor role. That shows he's actively involved in the offense whenever he's playing. For a rookie, particularly one who was selected in the second round and is sharing the floor with more experienced teammates, a 22% usage rate stands out. It indicates the Lakers are trusting him to be part of the offense and are willing to give him the ball in situations where they need someone to take charge of a possession. It also shows that Bronny isn't just standing in the corner or being passive when he's out there. He's engaged, making plays, and contributing to the team's offense in a real way. By the way, if you guys enjoy these deep dives, I'll be posting every day during this season. I genuinely appreciate if you could subscribe. Thanks. Anyways, Bronny. Breaking it down, Bronny's offensive actions per game include 2.2 field goal attempts, 0.6 free throw attempts, 0.6 assists, and 0.5 turnovers. These numbers represent the choices he's making in live game situations. He's taking shots when he has them, getting to the line occasionally, making passes that lead to scoring opportunities, and, like any young player, committing some turnovers. But when you factor in that he's doing all of this in just 11.7 possessions played per game, it shows how active he is on the floor. Nearly every other possession ends with him being directly involved in the action. That level of engagement is exactly what coaches want to see from young players. Even though his sample size is small right now, these numbers tell a consistent story. Bronny's already outperforming many of his peers in assists percentage and points assisted per game. His usage rate shows he's taking on responsibility during his minutes on the floor, and he's not afraid to get involved in the offense. That's a valuable trait, especially for a rookie who's not guaranteed minutes every night. He's making sure that when he gets his opportunities, he's making an impact. What's most important here is how these numbers project moving forward. If Bronny is already putting up these kinds of percentages in limited minutes, it's reasonable to believe they'll hold or even improve as he gets more experience and playing time. Many young players struggle to be efficient early in their careers because they're adjusting to the speed and physicality of the NBA game. Bronny's already shown he can handle those challenges and stay productive. The assist percentage of 16.05% is better than 65% of all players. The points assisted per game at 1.4 is better than 75% of players, and the usage rate of 22% shows the Lakers coaching staff is already trusting him with a meaningful role on offense when he's on the court. Those numbers might come from a small sample, but they provide real evidence that Bronny's doing his job and doing it well. For comparison, many rookies drafted higher than Bronny often have lower assist percentages and usage rates because they struggle to find their place in the offense or adapt to the NBA's pace. Bronny's already found a way to contribute. His ability to make smart plays, limit mistakes, and stay engaged without demanding the ball every possession shows he understands how to fit into the team concept. He's not out there trying to force things. He's making efficient plays within the flow of the offense. These numbers also point to potential areas of growth. If he's already performing at a high level with a small role, imagine what he might do with more minutes and a larger share of the offense. As he continues to develop and gets more opportunities, it's possible that his assist numbers and usage rate will go up. His decision-making has already proven to be solid, so increasing his role could lead to even better production. The fact that Bronny's assisting on a higher percentage of his teammates' field goals than most players and is involved in over 20% of offensive possessions suggests he's a well-rounded player. He's not just a scorer, he's contributing in multiple ways, and that versatility will serve him well as he works to carve out a bigger role on the Lakers. While Bronny James's numbers come from a small sample of games and minutes, they paint a clear picture of a player who's already making an impact in several important areas. His assist percentage, points assisted per game, and usage rate are all better than a majority of players, and they show he's making smart decisions with the opportunities he's been given. These are not empty numbers. They reflect his ability to read the game, make plays, and contribute in ways that help his team. It's still early in Bronny's career, and there's plenty of room for growth, but the early returns are encouraging. He's showing efficiency, involvement, and decision-making beyond his years. If he continues to get chances to play meaningful minutes, and if he builds on the foundation he's already laid, there's a strong chance these numbers will not only hold steady, but improve. For now, the Lakers can feel confident that they've got a young player who's already showing signs of being a valuable contributor, no matter how big or small the sample size might be right now. But really, Bronny James has made headlines for his scoring and his ability to contribute offensively when given minutes. But what often gets overlooked is just how impressive he's been on the defensive end of the floor. Even with a small sample size, the numbers show that Bronny's bringing real value on defense every time he steps on the court. He's proving he's not just capable on offense, he's an impact player defensively too. Let's start with deflections, one of the most underrated stats when it comes to measuring a player's defensive activity. Bronny is averaging 3.6 deflections per game. That number puts him in the 90th percentile league-wide. That means he's averaging more deflections than 90% of NBA players. That's not just solid, it's elite. Deflections aren't just random pokes at the ball. They disrupt the offense, force turnovers, and create transition opportunities. Bronny's hand activity, anticipation, and ability to read the passing lanes are already at a level that's better than most NBA defenders, and he's only played a small number of games. Deflections often show which players are engaged defensively. They indicate effort, focus, and awareness. Bronny is consistently getting into the passing lanes and keeping opposing ball handlers honest. He's forcing them to second-guess their decisions because they know he's lurking. That kind of defensive energy can't be taught easily. It's instinctive, and Bronny has shown he's got those instincts in his game already. Now, if we take a look at his RADI to OV, which stands for Random Adjusted Defensive Turnover Value, Bronny has a rating of -0.1. At first glance, that doesn't jump off the page. It puts him in the 39th percentile among NBA players. But keep in mind, this metric is heavily dependent on playing time and the number of defensive possessions a player gets. Bronny's rating here tells us he's about average in terms of forcing turnovers relative to his defensive opportunities. For a young player still adjusting to NBA speed, being around league average isn't a bad place to be, especially when combined with his elite deflection numbers. His defensive rebounding numbers are also worth a closer look. Bronny has a defensive rebounding value, or DRB, of 0.1. That places him in the 46th percentile. Again, right around league average, but it's important to remember, he's often playing as a guard. Guards typically don't rack up high defensive rebounding numbers compared to big men. Bronny's numbers here show that he's doing his job on the glass when called upon. He's boxing out, staying in position, and grabbing boards when he's supposed to. His willingness to get involved on the defensive glass is another reason why he's been a steady presence when the Lakers have needed it. Now let's get into rim defense, which is one of the hardest areas for perimeter players to make an impact. Bronny's rim defense rating is -2.9. which puts him in the 66th percentile. This stat measures the impact a player has on defending shots at the rim. For a guard, especially a rookie guard, to rank in the 66th percentile in rim defense is pretty impressive. It shows Bronny's able to rotate, contest shots at the rim, and hold his ground against bigger players when necessary. Rim frequency is another number that gives context to his rim defense. Bronny's rim frequency is 37.3%, which puts him in the 54th percentile. This measures how often shots are being taken at the rim when he's on the floor. Being right around league average here is actually a positive. It suggests he's doing a solid job preventing drives from turning into easy looks at the rim. He's contesting enough on the perimeter to stop opponents from getting downhill, but when they do, he's able to recover and contest effectively. One of the more traditional defensive stats, block percentage, or BLK%, shows Bronny's ability to protect the rim and contest shots. He's recorded a block percentage of 2%, which places him in the 65th percentile. That's excellent for a guard. Guards aren't typically expected to block many shots, but Bronny's showing he's not afraid to challenge players at the rim. He's got good timing and verticality, and he's been able to get clean contests that turn into blocks without fouling. His willingness to put himself in those situations is a testament to his toughness and defensive mindset. Speaking of fouling, Bronny's RPF, or relative personal foul rate, is -0.49. That puts him in the 76th percentile. This number measures how often he's committing fouls relative to league average, and the fact that he's fouling less than 76% of players while playing defense at this level is remarkable. It shows he's disciplined, he's not gambling unnecessarily, and he's playing within himself. Many young players struggle with foul trouble early in their careers, especially those who play with the level of aggression Bronny has shown on defense. But he's been able to stay active without getting into foul trouble, which helps him stay on the court and continue making an impact. One of the more comprehensive metrics for defensive performance is crafted DPM, or crafted defensive plus minus. Bronny's rating here is negative 0.5, placing him in the 32nd percentile. While that might not sound great, it's important to understand the context. Crafted DPM is influenced heavily by playing time and defensive possessions, and Bronny's limited minutes naturally drag this number down. But when you pair this with his high percentile rankings in deflections, rim defense, block percentage, and personal foul rate, you get a more complete picture of a player who's already an above average defender in several categories. What makes Bronny's defensive numbers even more impressive is the fact that he's often being asked to defend multiple positions. The Lakers have used him to guard other teams' point guards, shooting guards, and even some small forwards. He switched onto bigger wings, contested shots at the rim, and fought through screens on the perimeter. He's showing versatility on defense that many rookies don't have. His ability to guard multiple positions and stay disciplined while doing it is a big reason why the Lakers have trusted him with meaningful defensive assignments, even in games where the outcome is still in question. Bronny's defensive footwork has been excellent, especially for a player with limited NBA experience. He's quick laterally, stays low in his stance, and uses his hands effectively without overreaching. That's a big reason why he's generating so many deflections and contesting so many shots without fouling. His positioning on the perimeter has also been solid, forcing opposing ball handlers to think twice about attacking him off the dribble. He's consistently cutting off driving lanes and rotating on time when he needs to. Another underrated part of Bronny's defensive game is his communication. He's vocal on defense, calling out screens and switches, and making sure his teammates are aware of what's happening on the floor. That's something you don't always see from rookies, but Bronny's already taken on that role. Communication is often the backbone of good team defense, and Bronny's willingness to lead in that area speaks to his understanding of the game and his maturity as a player. The Lakers have needed defensive contributors this season, especially with key players missing time due to injury. Bronny stepped in and filled that role better than anyone could have expected. His deflections lead to transition opportunities. His rim defense prevents easy buckets, and his discipline allows him to stay on the court without racking up unnecessary fouls. He's giving the Lakers a defensive spark off the bench, and he's doing it while still learning the NBA game. It's important to emphasize how rare this is for a rookie guard. Many young players come into the league and struggle to keep up with the defensive demands of NBA basketball. The pace, the spacing, and the talent level make it a tough adjustment, and most rookies find themselves targeted by opposing offenses. Bronny's been the exception. His advanced defensive metrics, combined with his on-ball and help defense, show that he's holding his own, and in some areas thriving. What's exciting about Bronny's defense is that it's only going to get better. As he gets more comfortable in the league and understands opposing teams' tendencies, his awareness will continue to improve. He's already shown he can guard multiple positions, contest shots at the rim, and generate turnovers without fouling. As he gains experience, his positioning will tighten up even more, and his anticipation will become sharper. Bronny's work on defense is already giving the Lakers real value, and it's laying the foundation for him to be a plus defender for years to come. The combination of athleticism, discipline, awareness, and communication he's displayed on that end of the floor makes him stand out among his rookie peers. And when you pair that with his offensive efficiency, you're looking at a player who's becoming more complete with every game he plays. Even with the small sample size, the defensive numbers speak for themselves. 3.6 deflections per game, 90th percentile. Rim defense in the 66th percentile. Block percentage in the 65th percentile. Personal foul rate in the 76th percentile. These are not numbers you typically see from a second-round rookie, especially one splitting time between the NBA and the G League earlier in the season. But Bronny's not a typical rookie. His defensive impact is real, and it's only going to grow as he continues to develop. The Lakers have found a player who's not just surviving on defense, but making a difference. And that's something to be excited about moving forward. Overall, though, the Lakers just might have something in Bronny James. It's still early, and no one's pretending he's a finished product. But the flashes he's shown, both offensively and defensively, are hard to ignore. He's played meaningful minutes, he's stepped into a bigger role when injuries forced it, and he's proven that he's capable of handling the pressure that comes with wearing the Lakers uniform. That matters. It's not easy for any rookie to walk into this kind of situation and make an impact, especially one drafted in the second round with as much scrutiny as Bronny. Yet here he is, showing poise, confidence, and an ability to adapt at the NBA level. Bronny's performance the other night wasn't just a statistical high point. It was something bigger. It was a sign that he's not just filling minutes, he's earning them. Players don't stumble their way into scoring efficiently, moving the ball, and playing solid defense. That takes skill, preparation, and focus. He's been locked in, and you can see it in how he carries himself on the court. There's a confidence he's playing with that you don't always see in rookies, especially ones still finding their footing in a league filled with elite talent. When the Lakers needed someone to step up, Bronny didn't hesitate. He didn't look unsure or out of place. He just played, whether it was knocking down shots, creating opportunities for teammates, or sticking to his man on defense. He was doing what needed to be done, and he was doing it with a calmness that made it easy to forget he's only 20 years old and 22 games into his NBA career. This isn't just about one game, though. It's about what this game represents. It's proof that Bronny can be trusted in bigger moments. It's proof that he belongs. He's worked hard to get to this point, and now he's showing that the work is paying off. He's not just LeBron's son, he's carving out his own place in the league. That's something no one can take away from him. There's a reason the Lakers took a chance on Bronny in the draft. They saw potential, they saw work ethic, and they saw someone who understands the game. Now the fans are seeing it too. It's not about highlight reels or flashy plays. It's about doing the little things that help teams win. It's about knowing where to be on the floor, making smart passes, and locking in on defense. Bronny's already showing he can do those things, and when you add in his efficient scoring and willingness to take on whatever role the Lakers need, it's easy to see why there's growing excitement about what he can become. He's shown he can be efficient, he's shown he can make plays, and he's shown he can defend multiple positions. Those are all signs of a player who has the tools to stick around in this league for a long time. He's not flashy, he's solid, and sometimes solid is exactly what a team needs. The Lakers needed someone to step up, and Bronny did. That matters. It's not about how many points he scored or how many assists he had. It's about how he played the game the right way and how he helped his team in every way he could. For a rookie, Bronny already understands his role. He's not trying to do too much, he's not forcing shots or gambling on defense. He's playing within himself, and that's a sign of a player who gets it. That's not something you can always teach. Some players have to learn it the hard way. Bronny seems to already understand what he needs to do, and that's going to serve him well as his career moves forward. The Lakers have something here. Bronny's not just another rookie. He's not just another name on the roster. He's showing that he can be part of this team's future. He's showing that he can earn minutes, make smart plays, and be a positive presence on both ends of the floor. It's not just about filling a roster spot. It's about building something, and Bronny's already laying the foundation. He's got a long way to go. No one's pretending otherwise. There's room to grow in every area of his game. He's going to need to keep working on his handle, his decision-making, and his defensive positioning. But what's important is that he's already shown he can do these things at a level that gives the Lakers real value right now. If he can do this in his first season, there's every reason to believe he'll keep getting better. There's always going to be pressure on Bronny James. That's just the way it is when you're the son of an all-time great. But the way he's handled that pressure says a lot about him. He's not shrinking from the spotlight. He's embracing it, and he's letting his game speak for itself. The Lakers took a chance on Bronny in the second round, and right now, it's looking like a smart move. They found a player who's willing to work, willing to learn, and willing to do what it takes to help his team. He's showing toughness, he's showing skill, and he's showing that he's got the mindset to keep getting better. There's no telling what Bronny's ceiling is yet. He's still developing. But if this is the starting point, the Lakers have every reason to be excited. They've got a player who's already making a difference and who's only going to improve as he gets more experience. In a league where development is key and teams are always searching for reliable, versatile players, Bronny's early returns are a good sign. He's not just holding his own, he's earning respect. He's proving he belongs. So when you look at what Bronny James has done so far, it's not hard to imagine that the Lakers might have something here. They've got a young player who's already making an impact and who's showing all the signs of someone who can be a big part of their future. Bronny's ready for the challenge, and the Lakers are lucky to have him. If you guys enjoyed this, I'll be posting every day during the season. I genuinely appreciate if you could subscribe. Thanks for watching.